Hi, or Celeste here with this Ocean's 11 heist. Listen, I wasn't even going to record today, and I'm sitting here taking pictures in the laptop and shit, and I started shuffling. Let me stop being weird. Okay, let's get into it. Because, quite frankly, it's enough BS. We're way past all of that. We know the red flags. We know our patterns. We know everybody's our mirror. We know that everybody we've been paired with, dealt with, they showed us an aspect of ourselves, habitual patterns and weird ass behavior. We know that. We know. Family, as we know it, as we assumed we knew it, is changing. Structure is changing. In that death card is a priest, and he's begging for mercy to be spared. Because the whole time, he thought he was doing something right. He thought he was doing it the only way that it could be done and teaching it that way. And when that day comes for things to end, so a new way of living can begin, that's when most people finally have an open mind. When the choice has been made for them. Now they have a choice. When they were like, I had no other choice. I could only do it like this. You chose to only do it that way. So when the gavel comes down, or when the guillotine comes down, then people have that remorseful, open-minded scope and view, and they can see things different. All of a sudden, those choices were never there, never present, never available until a choice was made that was different than the one they only recognized. Hmm. You cannot afford an attorney. One will be appointed to you. Like, being bound. These are on the bottom. Being bound and having it to where your hands are tied. This is what's coming up for people in our environments. Trying to play and escape a situation that's going to end anyway. It's like, you can't run from ending. You can try. That Eight of Swords. I was thinking about it a couple hours ago. Messages. That motherfucker just wanted to Tweedledee, Tweedledum out of the deck. I shouldn't say that about the King of Pentacles. But the King of Pentacles, let me break down the King of Pentacles from an earth sign perspective. Having a father and past a partner, also co-workers and family being earth signs. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo counterparts. They are demanding. They are insecurely confident. They are the one that everybody looks to be solid and to be on top of it in every given situation. And a lot of times they don't even know what the fuck they're really doing. They're just kind of going, I don't know, it works for them. So a lot of the acumen, a lot of the position, the cockiness, the ego that they have is only because when they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, people still saw them as doing something right. So the confidence they have is outside. It's a physical, tangible, outwardly praise to solidify value. It's not necessarily from within. Okay? They don't that's a fire sign thing. To be within and come out, it consumes and exudes heat. Okay? But the pentacles, they support everything else. So think about like these essential workers and stuff. They're the ones that you're gonna find in essential positions 8 times out of 10, right? Because they choose things that are safe, that are stable, that are sure. Okay? And nobody really looks at it, and they don't really consider, they choose in that manner. And then when they're relied on to provide and to do, over time, it's like the burden and the stress of being in that position was actually self-inflicted. The health issues, the mental duress, the anxiety, the lack of sleep, or just being exhausted. This is something self-inflicted. It can be obsessive, excessive, compulsive, to work, to clean, to organize, to structure, to do, to have, to... This is your King of Pentacles, spoken from a Queen of Pentacles perspective. And sometimes, at the sake of whatever relationships are in the mix, it's like, well, I can't count on that because I don't know. But I know this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to work. This is a sure option. So I'm going to just take that. But this is too unpredictable. And I can't control it. I can't... See, my voice, it just cracked. I can't control it, right? I can't manipulate it. And not in a negative way, but I can't make it act in a way that makes me comfortable. And that makes me uncomfortable. Because I'm used to repetition. Because when you don't do that thing, I'm going to get uncomfortable. Because I can't account for what comes next. And I really don't like to not know solid events, happenings. Like, yeah, that's my masculine aspect sitting right there. I'm not downing the King of Pentacles. Everybody's like, oh, that's a commitment, long term. And yeah, if you want to eat cornflakes every morning because this is their meal and they want the same thing. I mean, I'm just saying you can have variety, but there's something very particular and habitual that you're going to get with an earth sign counterpart. I told you, fire is combustible. It is spontaneous. It's different. And with air, you can go a lot of places with communication-based relationships when you're with an air sign. And we know that water, I mean, you need temperance for it, but it's feasible if you're compatible with that element. But as I was saying, the unknown, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if a person with earth, most prominent in their chart, has intuition. There's anxiety for not knowing, especially if you're a life path 7. My whole life is learning and investigating and knowing and wanting to know what is unknown. So I can see this shit and see the discomfort. And a person can bounce back and readjust. Virgos are mutable. Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, mutable energy. And we're in that energy right now with us being in Gemini season. But it's Taurus season if you're looking at sidereal, right? So take it how you want. Either way. What? Whoa. Came out sideways. That control factor. This King of Pentacles energy cannot do shit the same as they've always done it because it ends up being out of control. No matter how much control they have, they end up not having the control in the end. So there's a lesson there in, I mean, it's so stable, so solid, so, listen, they've come to this impasse more than once. I mean, come on. How many times are you going to get to the same headspace, the same state? Do I? Don't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? Will I? Won't I? Goddamn. All this, right? Look at those thrones. All stone. I think that's the only king that has a kingdom behind him. And the emperor rules. Once, the way that I have my cards, when I have my cards in my hand, it has always been spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds. It starts with a thought. You believe in God? He had a thought and shit happened. Okay? First step of manifestation. Heart, emotion, intention, feeling. Hearts, right? Clubs. That's the will, that's the drive, that's the initiative to spark it, and then it becomes physical. Diamonds. The King of Pentacles is the last step before a person becomes an emperor. that Emperor was sideways because that is the last part of mastery. So whomever you are dealing with, male or female, because and I always paired these two together. When I had decks that had gotten worn out or lost a card or something like that, I had the Emperor and the High Priestess. That's my match. That's my match. Emperor and Empress is fine, but your soulmate differs from your usual type. And these are the two I pair together. You have some people who will pair the Hermit and High Priestess because they're Pisces, Virgo, and they're opposites, but they're similar. You'll have people who pair the Hierophant with the High Priestess. It's too too similar, it's like, I don't know. I think of this is more like Cleopatra and Anton, like how they're different, or whatever the fuck his name is. But you get what I'm saying. They were not the very same. They were not a typical type of couple. And that's, if you could have this combination, you have the empathy and the yin principle so intrinsic and connected to source. And then you have this masculine that exudes and protrudes and delegates to the environment. But this connection together, the pillow talk is off the motherfucking meat rack. Because when this Emperor comes out and makes those moves and makes those decisions, and it's wise, it's for the highest good of all, and it seems to come out of thin air from someone with a demeanor like this, it's because they're sitting in union, enthralled in union. This person has everything across the land, everything under control. And this one navigates what cannot be seen in order to make shit happen in this realm. This is my pair that I put together when I think of union, when I think of divine. They lead in two different domains that doesn't conflict with each other's. If you have a high priestess and a hierophant, you have two people in similar domains with contrasting, and it could be similar in some ways, but contrasting and clashing at times ideologies. That would keep continual conflict because they could not, they intervene with one another. These two characters are different. I'm just saying. The King of Pentacles is the last king to be embodied prior to emperorhood, to be placed. I'm just saying. There's a problem with manifesting because the will to do so is, I didn't pass gas, that's my chair. The will to do so is battered because the thoughts are so rampant and so wild, it confuses the spirit so it can't fully manifest. And this is why this King of Pentacles is sitting here not in his fullness, not in his emperorhood. He's close. He's very close, but he still has to ascend the lesson of the King of Pentacles. It's a very valuable lesson something you can't learn by being those other kings. Because where this King of Pentacles is, it's like, okay, all those other kings, they do shit and they do shit their way. And there's a lot of creative control. But all of that has to be combined in a way that sustains, that will bring a form of surety that isn't outside. It's the thing is, the way the King of Pentacles knows that something is working, that something is worth it, is if they can see it. If they can see the praise, if they can see the result, if they can see the yield. Otherwise, I mean, the fuck? He's got some real lush shit around him. He is surveying everything that he has accomplished and he has gained and that he has earned. That's what makes him feel like the King of Pentacles. But when that shit is only external, he's got to rely on the discernment of the other king placements that he has been in to understand. It doesn't come from outside. When you say something and you're having a conversation with somebody, King of Swords, and it's witty and it's this and that and the thoughts just connect, or your intellect, you can hang in those conversations and you can speak with some really, you know what I'm saying, educated people. You know, by the way that they're responding to you, the communication is on point. You can tell when you got it and you are mastering that aspect, that king. Something about that, though, wasn't completely dealt with prior to moving. There's something in a mental capacity that is just resounding, and it's like it's just looping over and over and over. The King of Pentacles in this regard does not have, like, say you're in college, say you're in school, whatever, and there's certain classes you pass just barely. You damn near flunked, okay? But you still got a good enough passing grade to end up graduating and getting to your senior year. Now you have to practically put those things into practice. Practically practice. But you have to, you did the conditioning part. You went through these different phases. Freshman year, you fucked up English course. Just barely made it. Junior year, there was something that you just skimmed by the skin of your teeth. So now you're in your senior year and it's a culmination of everything. So there is another course you're in and you have to apply. And it's taking skills from those different courses that you just barely passed. And now you're like, okay, oh shit. What was that? Like, damn, I wasn't good in that. I wasn't good with that. I fucked up. I flunked that shit. I wasn't paying attention. I was doing something else. And this is where the High Priestess steps in. There's something unfinished from those. I mean, those cycles are trying to close. The fullness of the 9 cycle has to culminate and come to a complete end in order for the 10, the amplified beginning, to ensue. High Priestess. Said resounding. It's in a loop, over and over and over and over and over and over. The same shit from sophomore year. Now I'm saying sophomore year because of cups. There was something that happened in the emotional sphere. King of Cups. We're talking about you. Oh. So even though mentally we can work on this, energetically we can work on this, emotionally, if the emotion is different than the thought and the will, if they don't all coincide, you're gonna have some really, like, I'm picking up weird science or like an experiment that goes wrong, and where like they're growing ears on the back of mice's, on the back of a mouse's back. Shit, you got, it's splicing. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Manifesting weird shit. Because it comes like this. And it's like, because of this emotional shit, this uncertainty, this murkiness, this loop around shit, anything you try to begin and put your energy into is going to be distorted. You can't even, it won't even be viewed clearly. It's like no shit. And not talking about anybody with a learning disability or anything like that. It's like somebody having dyslexia, or the lady who, for some reason, the cones in her eyes don't flip the image. Like she takes everything is upside down. So even her computer, she has to have the keyboard the other way. Her screen, she reads things like, she has to read it upside down. That's the way her brain processes the shit. You know what I'm saying? So anything created with the, like, I heard malfeasance. So anything created from these elements that were not completely, you didn't get the lesson from these elements, didn't get the lesson from the different stations in life that focused on these different areas, it's going to skew your manifestations, their manifestations. If you're looking at an outside relationship partner, I'm feeling like you got to go back to the drawing board. Got to go back to the drawing board. And we come right back to where the fuck we were. Look at the... So, Queen of Wands, Five of Cups, Ten of Swords, Hierophant. And I spoke about the Hierophant being in the Death card. True ending here. True ending here. Whomever this applies to went back to the drawing board, because this is what I was shown. This was the first card that came out. Not that there was that Tower and that other card, Six of Wands. It goes from being stuck and like blocked and like not being able to connect dots, not being able to connect thoughts, to too many of them running together to where you can't tell where one stops and one begins. They're never ending. These don't have any points to them. There's no point. There's no point. No point. So it's just self-defeating. At that point, you're like, okay, well, what the fuck? So everything that I thought, the reason why it didn't make sense and I couldn't connect anything is because, I mean, I can, well, maybe then this, and then it happened because I believe this, then this must be this, and it connects with that, but carry the one conjunction, like it's confusing different subjects and trying to make sense of something in relation to something that doesn't equate. It doesn't connect it cohesively. Okay. And it's like, I fucking give up. I'm done. I'm done. Below that, below that Eight of Swords was the Six of Swords. So it's like, like I said, going back to the drawing board and going back before a person bound themselves. There was a lie told to the self, or a false idea that was adopted and taken in that caused the confusion and is showing up as the Hierophant. I told y'all that Hierophant was in that death card. It wasn't until a choice was made for an individual that they realized that they had other choices. Then their mind was open. Blown the fuck open. Tower Six of Wands. Finally, we get a breaking free, a breaking open of stifled, redundant, cyclical thoughts. Okay? Bust your muffet cap back blue. Queen of Wands, Five of Cups. The energy that encountered the person coming up, use this energy. And I told you there was an issue with the emotional aspect. They just barely, like, look at this. Look at this. It's crap. It's murky. It's confusing. It's a blur. It's literally a fucking blur. Like, it's cloudy. There's no certainty. None. And that's exactly the state that this person was in, encountering this. So when I tell you the manifestations were skewed, the manifestations were skewed from the issues with the mental, the patterning, the thoughts, the beliefs, the teachings, going next to the emotional sphere, where still, I don't know how the fuck I never know how I feel unless it's based off of what another person's showing me. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know unless, and that still wasn't clear. That wasn't clear in childhood. That wasn't, you had the Six of Cups before this. That wasn't clear in childhood. That wasn't clear in everyday connections. It was like, okay, so what am I? It's always a make or break, or this or that, this or that, this or that. It always has to be something. So there's this skewed sense of communication. It's fucked up, and they still skimmed and got through, went to the next step. Page, knight, king, whatever, with this weird sense of emotional this or that, this or that. Now it's this, that, the other. So by the time they even make it to where they're taking actions and creating things and firing off pistons, their manifestations are all over the place. Manifestations are skewed. because their thoughts and the way they think about shit was skewed. The way they feel about shit is skewed. So their manifestations come in crooked. They come in sideways. And they don't understand. They weren't in a king mode. They weren't in a King of Cups mode when they encountered this queen. Not at all. So now, having been in this energy for so long, because this queen is not really, I mean, she's in charge. She's the entrepreneur too. She's the boss. She makes moves. She's impulsive. She's spontaneous. She's ambitious. She's got her own idea of what she's going to do and how she's going to do it, regardless of how anybody else feels. This is her domain. And this motherfucker is along for the ride. So having learned from this person, the way that they utilize energy with this sense of emotional, is an internal state. It's an internal state. Being combined with another person who is in their power, however they want to manipulate, they can. A person is so, they have no choice. When they're in the 5, they don't really see much of a choice. When they're in a 5, they don't see much of a choice. Until death. Until they're on their deathbed. Until all their choices or their thoughts and their beliefs are not the choice that is made for them. And it goes in another direction. Then they're open-minded. Then they're open-minded. Then they see another way. When these ideas and thoughts and beliefs are put to rest. And that's something that the high priestess has always said, has always known, has always advised. But someone in this state can't hear. Someone in this state can't see. Someone in this state can't think. Someone in this state can't clearly feel. So everything they desire, everything that they want, they can manifest. They have access to all the elements to manifest. But it's going to come out once it passes through. It's going to come out crooked, off course. Their manifestations always come with they're curveball. They have this weird angle. It's like, it's weird. It's so weird. Come on, King of Pentacles, Emperor. What else do you want to say? Okay. I'm not taking all of those. They're nice though. Oh, okay. Page of Pentacles. I'm hearing, I am not a king, and I know that now. Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. And I saw the cards like this, okay? And I was like, that's it. They want what they want. They have a clear vision, clear knowing, and it's the lower and the higher octave of the same type of energy. When they say wish fulfillment, and I think about, a person Okay, if this is the wish being heard, watered, and granted. This is the way the person feels while they're in the mode of manifestation, while they're receiving what they put out there. And they are transcending from this weird shit to this knowing. This is the emotional aspect that they needed in order to set right their manifestations. This is air energy. Their mental. We have the 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords. We have the Star backing up their mind, bringing in support, bringing in healing, bringing in amendment, bringing in, think of all your errors now, the Justice. We have Gemini here. The choice is no, it's not this or that. It's something else. Because the Hierophant got to go. It's too stuck. It's too rigid. It's too, and that's the negative aspect of that King of Pentacles. It thinks it knows the only way. And it surely does not. There's always a clause. There's always an exception to every rule. And there's this amendment that's taking place with this individual that put it, we're gonna bring you down a rung or two, and you're gonna start over as a page. Then you can work from apprenticeship. Let's put in some work. You're not gonna get paid just yet. You have to earn your keep, says the Knight of Pentacles. It's a lot of footwork that goes into this shit. You want to be the King of Pentacles, a true King of Pentacles? You're really gonna have to work. And it's gonna tax you in a complete way. Your mind, your body, and your spirit, your heart too. Everything has to go into what you're manifesting, says the Magician. You have to use it. That is how. So we have this where the wandering, the searching, the never a certain understanding of what emotion is. Yeah, I feel, I stubbed my toe, it hurts. Or I was happy that one time when and then I was so turned up and I was so, what I'm saying? I just had a great ass time. And then the moment was over. So what's emotion? Emotion. You got your head busted open with all those thoughts, and you were getting weird shit, and it was fucking with your energy. It was draining you. You were waking up sore or different, just you could feel it. And you were like, what the fuck? Why do I feel like this? But it was a sensation, or it was an ailment. Instead of, why do I feel like this? It was never, when you ask this question, when this person, how do you feel? Oh, I can't complain. Oh, yeah, it's nothing. Oh, whatever. I'm okay. They didn't have true feeling. And then I saw the reason why this is so important. The reason why a person is so fucking sure now is because something broke the mind. Something broke the mind. Something broke the stronghold of the mind. One sword for each person in this card. Them, another person, and who told them it was supposed to be that way. Or how it was supposed to go. That is destroyed. That idea. That is what freed a person. To truly learn what feeling meant, what emotion meant, and it means everything to them. They didn't know. They didn't know. They had no sense of, mind you, keep in mind now, this person was here. They couldn't see anything up. They weren't wishing on stars. They were too busy looking at the ground. Looking at the ground, and there was water passing them by. There was shit wasted. They didn't have a true sense of what emotion really was. They just felt what it was not. Voided. Lost. Confused. Without. Difficult. Confusing. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, I don't want that. I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. If that's what emotion is, that's not for me. I don't feel emotion because it's like that. Don't want it. Something broke the mind because they felt something. This is wish that you don't even realize you're making. That's subconscious level desire. To feel that in this real 3D physical vessel is the Nine of Cups. But it's related to that prayer, to that manifestation made pure of heart. That's why the only thing that can break a stronghold, I said to myself the other fucking day, true love breaks the curse. True love breaks the curse. True love breaks the curse. And people are talking about fairy tales and shit like that. No, it is the purity of motherfucking heart. You think about a unicorn. Can't shit get close to a unicorn but a motherfucking virgin. Purity. Virgin hearted. Pure hearted. Pure intention. The intent is everything. And you don't manifest anything worth having from this energy. This will skew, distort, destroy. The intention has to be fucking pure. There is no way around it. You'll get what you ask for, and a lot that you didn't when you manifest in that type of energy. And I've seen it. I've seen attacks come my way. And then I've seen, because I don't have anything to do with anybody else. If I protect me from you, I'm simultaneously going to protect you from me. Do you understand? Because I understand. And I need you to understand. The reason why I'm so watched over is because while I'm keeping my best interest at heart, I'm keeping yours at heart too. I cannot wish you harm without wishing myself harm. I cannot do something against you without doing it to myself. I just want you to know that. So, broke the mind, broke that pattern of thought, broke that idea of what was considered ideal. Null and void, right? This is what's left. So now you got a motherfucker going through the stages, understanding from a new perspective what's worth it, how much was spent, how much time, how much did you learn, how can you use it. High Priestess. Since inception, conception, she's been teaching. Everything's a lesson because everything is a part of the great mystery. Everything is relevant. So much so that people can not understand how it coincides and they get caught in the crosshairs. It's a transition. The King of Pentacles is coming into being. Does not matter what the star association sun sign is. That is the last step of mastery before transcending to the emperor status. It kind of goes backwards. It's thoughts, emotion, will, root, stability, shelter, and all of that, making sure that stability is in place. It's weird because Kundalini rises this way, and the other path of mastery is like descending onto you. You have to get control of the mind and control of the heart and control of your energy, how you use it, how you manipulate it in your environment and implement it, and what you yield from it. So that you're solid from the ground up, from head to toe. Good gracious, man. Why can't I just have a normal? Somebody's coming. Somebody's coming. They're on the way. New love interest. I just want it to be so simple sometimes. It's not. It's not simple. I mean, I'm not mocking anybody. I don't want my shit to be like that. I promise you I don't. This was on the floor. So there's still some apprehension, but shit's changing. You know, we got our tens here. We got the Ten of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. I mean, it's they're fortunate to have gone through an ending without actually being too badly harmed. I mean, it might feel weird. Yeah. A year or two, they'll be looking back like, that was heavy. Oh my God. Pandemic. And then all this shit. So, I mean, it is happening. It's a dawning. It's a crowning, like when a baby's coming out and their head is just like, you know, all weird and stuff. It's a crowning. Wheel of Fortune. These two. Okay. You have Jupiter And I told you that this is, even though this is a card of Neptune, when it's turned like this, it's showing you the key of Jupiter. Jupiter's key. And here we have both of these symbolisms have the Torah, which I'm studying. And the mutable access is so fucking strong. And a lot of people don't, like they're the mutable signs. They're just the finishers. Yes, we finish shit. Other people start shit. We're the ones who finish. That's fine. But it seems like since Pisces season, all the way to Sagittarius season, you're going to see this transfiguration occurring. I do feel that it's going to take about that long. So we're looking at November, the end of November time period. Again, if you're tropical or sidereal, you're looking at the beginning of December time frame, end of November. So it was already scripted. It was already written. It was already foreseen, foretold. It's just that in these visions, in these intuitive hits, time is not yours. You're borrowing. You're borrowing time here on this damn planet. You're borrowing time with everybody that you're around. You don't belong, like, you don't own time. You cannot control time. And I don't care how punctual a motherfucker can be. You're not in control of that time. You can bend it based on your vibration. You can speed it up and you can slow it down. But you cannot control it more, so you can just play with it. That's it. Let me get a final message, a final word. I don't have any other, I do have other decks, but I'm not pulling them. Final word. It speaks for itself. If I have a 9, I'd rather it be that one and that 9 of cups. If I have a 10, I'd rather it be that one and the wheel of fortune. So you think about the lower minor arcana, think about the higher octave, same vibration. Okay? That whole process of the hermit is 9 of wands, 9 of swords, 9 of pentacles, 9 of cups. Though the key vibration, if you do it 1 to 78, the keys may be different vibrations, but just look at what's notated on the card. This is why the hermit has to seclude themselves sometimes, because the shit and the energy that they're going through is not for the faint-hearted. It's for somebody with strong mind, strong will, strong coin, and strong sense of happiness. The 9 is the aim. It means that you have gone through all of the cycles. Every single last fucking one of them. That's why the hermit looks ancient. The oldest looking motherfucker, it looks like the motherfucker sitting in the 10 of Pentacles. white beard, all the wisdom and all this. But it can get heavy. So this hermit energy, not everybody's comfortable in that motherfucking energy. And we have this 10. We have the Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Swords. Life as you know it is different. It's time to see a new happy. Finding what that means. Truly, from a humanitarian, 9 vibration. Well, I'm gonna go. I've been on here an hour. I'm supposed to be doing something else. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's all in divine order. Don't worry. It's working out. It's planning. It's going through the stages. As it should be. God damn. This heist is not easy. Nope. We're going to put love back where the fuck it belongs. That's just what we're going to do. We're going to replace. Remove and replace. Remove and replace. Remove and replace. With some positive shit. We're breaking shit, habits, and everything else. So, I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.